Hi there, Fiber friends. Thanks for tuning into the Fiber Artist Podcast today. We are hardcore celebrating the holidays over here at Niroma Studio. So for the next week, until Wednesday, December 15th, we are giving you a free roll of macrame rope or string with the purchase of any 3 rolls. That's right, it's buy 3, get 1 free, or buy 6 and get 2 free, and so on. You don't need a code. You just add the rolls to your cart and one of them will show up as free. This includes any rope or string from our super soft collection, meridian cotton, recycled cotton, linen, jute, or metallic rope. Again, you do not need a code. It will be added automatically at checkout, so head over to niromastudio.com to get that good fiber. And please don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment below, ask anything you want. I will answer it. And finally, my guest today is the talented and lovely Ciara Jones, the disco pom queen herself from the Juno studio. There's so much I didn't know about Ciara before this conversation, which is one of the reasons I really love doing these podcasts. She tells us all about her military service. She shares about the sudden death of her mother and the unexpected downside of getting a little too popular. Going viral isn't all it's chalked up to be, people. Anyway, listen, I loved getting to know Ciara, and I hope you do too. Find her at the Juno Studio on Instagram and on Etsy at the Juno Studio. So without further ado, here's Ciara. Can you just start out and introduce yourself, your first and last name, and let people know where they can find you online?
Okay, so my name is Ciara Jones, and you can find me on Instagram at the Juno Studio.
All right. And website?
Right now I have Etsy, so that is the Juno Studio too.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm so excited to get to talk to you. I was doing some stalking on Instagram a couple of days ago, just going through your feed, and I remember when I first sort of found you, and it's fun to take a look at the history and watch it take a transition from you were always pretty colorful. I think your first few posts were all neutrals, but then you always played around with color, but then there's this point where it becomes like this party explosion. So I'm excited to get to know about your background and how you found fiber art in your life, and let's go from there.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Cindy. So in the beginning, I'm not sure, some people know this, but I started out making clay dishes.
Oh, I did not know this.
Yeah, that's my old business. I don't do it anymore. And I started that when I was active duty. So that was just something, something fun to do after work. So
okay, this I also didn't know. So talk about this too. I want to get into all of it. Maybe we should start earlier than all of this.
Yeah. So I was in the military for 7 years.
Wow.
I deployed twice to Afghanistan and Turkey, and it was definitely an experience I'm happy I had. I was really young. I didn't know what to do. I was working at McDonald's, and my dad recommended Air Force. I was in Air Force.
Okay.
So I was just why not? I don't have anything else to do because I had dropped out of school. I was going to school for architecture at Wentworth Institute of Technology in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there for a semester, and I did not like it. So I left. And then fast forward to working at McDonald's and then Air Force for 7 years. And I liked it in the beginning, serving in Air Force, but I started not to like it.
How old were you when you enlisted?
I was 19.
Okay, so you were so young.
Yeah.
And so tell me about the process. This is something that is actually, I'm really foreign to the process of the military. Somehow I've been sheltered from it. I know there's a couple months of boot camp, right? And then do you get to specify what area that you'd like to go into? How does that all work?
So you can, and they try to. So I enlisted, I went to the recruiter and everything. And you have to take this test called the ASVAB test, and that's how they place you in a job they think you'll be good at. I honestly don't remember the jobs that were on that test. I just picked one, and it was aircrew flight equipment. I basically packed parachutes and inspected like survival gear, like their helmets, their masks, everything.
Okay.
So that was my job. Very much attention to detail, very hands on.
Yeah, and so
Which,
much it's like and if oh god, that's a lot of pressure. That's what it makes me
yeah,
think of, like, oh my god, this is so much pressure. If anything goes wrong, this is like my fault.
yeah,
And are
yeah.
there a lot of
It was
people
long.
checking your work, or like how does that, is there like a whole line of people checking, or is it just you?
So there was, they call it QA, and QA will come behind you after a certain amount of steps that you took so you can proceed, especially with packing a parachute. There's a lot of like um, tackings, like knots to tie, and just like making sure each flap in the parachute, there's no holes in it, and things like that. And then eventually I became QA.
Uh-huh.
So I was checking behind people and making sure, everything was good. And we do have a checklist too. So that makes sure that helps us, stay on track.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then
It's a
how
lot.
long were you doing that, and at what point were you deployed?
Yes. So my first deployment, so I had this job for the whole like 7 years I was in. And then my first deployment, it was probably about a year or two after I joined. I was so scared, Cindy. I was so scared. So, the one of like our bosses, our NCOs came in and she was like, "Ciara, you're deploying." And I was like, "What?" Like I just got here. So usually they don't do that. They don't send off a 3 level. That's what I was. You have to be like a 5 level or above these days. So I was a 3 level on my way to get my 5 level, and they were just like, "You're going," and I was just
Oh my
like,
gosh.
"Oh man."
Wait, can I
So I
interrupt you?
went.
So when you're sort of in training and you're going up the levels, where are you
Mhm.
located at this point? Are you like on a base
I'm
somewhere in the US?
I was here in Georgia. It was Moody Air Force Base.
Okay.
That's my first and only base I've ever been stationed at. Yeah.
Okay. And what does the day to day look like? Like, are allowed, do you leave whenever you want? Or is it like you have a set schedule when you're on base
Mhm.
and doing, checking all the equipment and all that stuff? How does that work?
Yeah. So it's like a basic. Well, I worked 7:30 to 4:30, and you have like an hour and a half lunch sometimes. So like in the beginning of the day, if there's, a task like packing parachutes or like a training, we did a lot of trainings. And so we would start our day with, everyone together, and they would just task us with what they needed us to get done that day. And then we'll go on lunch and then come back and hopefully finish. Sometimes things take, like packing a parachute, sometimes it can get done in one day, but sometimes it can take like 2 days,
Oh,
depending on
wow. I didn't realize it
who's
takes so
doing
long.
it.
Wow.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, a lot.
Okay. So really it is literally taking up your whole day in order to pack.
Yeah,
Okay.
hmm,
Interesting.
yeah. And then we also packed life rafts too, and that was a whole thing because once we blew it up, it had to sit for I think like 4 or 5 hours to make sure there were no air leaks.
Uh-huh.
So that was really lengthy too.
Wow. Okay. So then you're eating and doing everything on base. You're sleeping there.
So in the beginning, I was. So when you first get on base, you are living in the dorms unless you're married. So if you're married, you can automatically move off base, and you have like your housing allowance and everything like that. I was single, So I was in the dorms, which is kind of like college vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to enjoy that when I was in college, so that was definitely a lot of fun. And there's like a laundry room. There's they call it DFAC, which is the cafeteria. So you get food for free. The hospital is on base too, so everything is there. You don't have to leave like for the necessities. Like there's a grocery store, gas station,
Oh,
everything on
wow.
base.
Okay.
So everything is there for you.
Wow.
Mm.
Um, okay, I'm gonna go back a little bit. You said that you didn't get to enjoy like dorm life when you were in college. Were you not in a
No,
dorm, or you just didn't like it?
I didn't like
Oh,
it.
you didn't.
I didn't like the girls. The girls I was rooming with, we were all very different. I think one of them was from like I don't know, Argentina or something, and then another girl, I think she was just from like North Dakota. And then there's me, and I had just separated from my twin sister, so I was like
Oh,
very
you have a
like awkward
twin.
and quiet. Yes. I was so awkward and quiet, and I was just so out of my element. I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
Right. And Boston
Like,
is so different, I'm sure, from where you are in Georgia. And honestly,
yeah,
freshman year is really hard, I think, for everyone. You are thrown
yeah,
into just a sea of people, and sometimes the personalities don't match, and it's like it is really
yeah.
tough. I couldn't have been
Mhm.
more opposite my freshman year roommate. Like she was Asian, and that was like the one thing that I guess was supposed to make us similar, but we were the total
Mhm.
polar opposites.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, it's a lot. They threw us in a room. It was me and the two other girls. And we were like in the same room, like three of us. And then we were like in a pod, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So outside our room were other girls in their little rooms. And it was just a lot. It was too
Yeah.
much for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you came back enlisted, then you get deployed. Would you say 2 years after? After you
About two
enlisted?
years.
Okay.
Hmm.
And how long were you there? So was this Afghanistan or Turkey?
Afghanistan. That was my first one. So that one was 6 months.
Okay.
6 months long. Um, we stayed in dorms too, and that we had roommates and everything like that. Our hours were 12-hour shifts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 12
Wow.
hours.
And did you leave
It was,
base at all? Like, did you get to see any of Afghanistan? Like, I don't know.
no,
I don't know what that's like. Do you like? I know. I don't mean like sightseeing, but like, do you see the people, like the locals? Do you interact with locals at all, or?
they did work on base.
I don't mean
They
like, are
did
you
work.
going to restaurants and
No,
shopping?
no, no. We did see them. They worked in the cafeteria for the most
Okay.
part, and like, I think that was the only place we saw them. Like, and there was like a bazaar.
Uh huh.
They did have like little shopping and like knockoff stuff you can buy. Um, yeah, that's the only time we saw them.
Okay.
Mm.
And how were you
Uh,
feeling at the time? Like, what were you thinking? Were you scared? Were you just along for the ride? Was there anxiety? I don't know.
Anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all you see on the news is like people getting killed and like
Right.
bombs, and so we had to carry 24/7. We all were assigned our own weapon. It was like a pistol, and it was on our waist, like at all times. So we went to bed with it. We walked around with it. Um, it was really intense, especially I think I was like 20. I turned 21 out there.
Okay. Wow.
I turned 21, and I also tested for my 5 level out there, and luckily I passed because that was just a lot.
You
It was
say that like you were
just,
unsure that you should have.
I didn't know. I got a C, so that's
Okay.
passing.
That's passing.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, you're
Yeah.
sleeping with a gun. They should let you pack a parachute.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're literally
See,
sleeping with it
like,
on your person? Like you have to sleep with it on?
so it was next to my bed. I didn't sleep with it on.
Okay. I mean, that sounds dangerous and
But
painful to sleep with it on.
girl, it was.
Uh-oh, hold on, I lost you. Oh,
Are you there?
okay. Yes. Did I cut off too?
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see you.
Okay, we're
What
back.
happened?
We're back. We're back.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. What were we talking about?
Oh,
Oh,
sleeping with guns. Oh no, I lost you again. Okay.
Cindy. Okay.
Am I
So
back?
we're back.
Yes.
Yes, I see you.
Okay,
Okay.
so yes, so you are very anxious at this point in time. Um, did it feel like that time in your life went by quickly, like while you were there? Like when you think back at it, or is it like
In the beginning, it went really slow.
okay,
It went really slow. But towards like that third month, it was just like, okay, I got this. Like you're in a rhythm. You go get your breakfast. You come to work. You leave to go get lunch. And the people I was with, like my shop I was with, I was the only girl.
oh
So
wow,
it was like I was with my big brothers. So it was a lot. I felt protected, definitely.
oh that's good,
Um, yes, but oh my goodness. Like thinking back on it, I'm just surprised I did it. You
right?
know?
I mean, aren't you impressed with yourself? I'm so impressed. Even when you like, I wasn't even
Thank
thinking
you.
about that part, that the fact that you're the only girl. Um, I mean,
Mhm.
all of that, I just feel like it's yeah, it's incredible. You're badass.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you felt protected, but did you also feel, I mean, also being the only girl, is that something you are kind of used to having? Do you have brothers?
No, just sisters. I have
Okay.
my twin, and then I have my little sister, which was from another marriage from my dad.
Okay.
But I grew up, of course, with my twin. So yes, only girl
Girls. Wow. So
around.
was there a point where you were ever fearful that you were only surrounded by men? Oh, that's
No,
good. That's so
I
good to
didn't.
hear.
We had very close knit, because like backtracking before the deployment. The guys that I worked with, like we were so close. Like we would go out on the weekends. We would have barbecues at their house. Like it was just such a family vibe.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, I love that.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Okay, so you do that for 6 months, come back to the States,
Yeah.
and then what happens?
So I moved off base. They let me move off base after that. I got a new car, Cindy, because mine was just
Good for
because
you.
they do pay more. They pay like hazard duty pay and like something else. I forget how they do it, but you do get paid more when you deploy. So my car was just like acting up. So I was like, I'm not putting any more money into this car. I'm gonna go get a new one. And that's a car I still have. And then honestly, you get like a week or two off after coming back. And then if you want to take extended leave, you can do that to see family. Um, and then it's just back to work,
Mm,
regular stuff. Yeah.
okay. And then how long were you back before you had to before you got shipped out again?
Um, I think it was like 2 years,
Okay.
another 2 years.
And is it the whole time you're sort of with the same group of people where you're coming back together and going back out together?
Oh, well, my second group was different because they do PCS. They go to another base.
Okay.
So we don't stay together forever, which is sad, but we do get new people in and we train them up and they're ready to deploy. So
Okay.
my second group was different. And that deployment to Turkey was way chiller.
Ah,
We did not have to carry a weapon. It was kind of like we were in the States.
nice.
So,
Well, I've
yeah,
heard
that
that
was
about Turkey in general. Well, obviously there wasn't like a active war in that country at the time, right?
cool. My dog is barking. Is that too loud? I'm gonna have to close
Uh,
the door.
yeah, I guess maybe
I
close the
closed the
door.
door. Yeah. 1 second. Let me see. Okay.
All right. I know. Mine's over here sleeping in the corner, just waiting for her to get
Mine,
impatient.
yeah, mine were sleeping. Okay, okay.
All right.
We're
Okay. So you're in Turkey and you stay, how long do you stay there?
6 months.
Okay.
6 months again.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
then you come back to the States after that. And what happens? So this is how long are you in the military at this point?
I think it was like 5 years
Okay.
at this point. And then came back home, and I think that was when I was starting to realize that it wasn't for me, like
Mm-hmm.
the constantly going, because even though, deployments come about every 2 years, there's still like those little trips in between stateside. So, little like a week in Florida, a week in Las Vegas, a week this. It was just a lot of traveling. It was really fun in the beginning, but it's just like go, 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 go. And I'm just like, can I chill for a minute?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was annoying.
Yeah. And what are you doing when you're traveling? They're just having you do the same
Um,
thing, like while you go out there, or
Same thing.
like
Same.
just training different people.
So, when we like, I think it's kind of like the same as when we deploy. We're just doing our job, but not so much packing the parachutes. We're more so inspecting masks
Hmm.
and like their harnesses they fly with and like the smaller things because packing parachutes can be so lengthy. We only have to pack those, I think, every year unless they're deployed.
Okay.
So the harnesses and the mask and the helmet, that's every 30 days. We have to inspect them.
Okay. And have you yourself ever jumped out of a plane?
No.
You haven't.
No, I had the opportunity to, but just seeing the people come back, and it's just like, why would you want to do that?
I know.
Why would you want to do that? Oh my, like some people like get sick, and some people just come back disoriented. Like regular people like me, not pilots,
Hmm.
like volunteering to fly, and I'm just like, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. I did it my senior year of college.
Same.
With like a group of kids and
Hmm.
I did it and I did not enjoy it. But the thing is, because I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie. Like I kind of love doing stuff
Okay.
like that. But
Hmm.
I didn't enjoy it at all because my head got filled with so much pressure. And so it was painful. And because I was in the middle of the sky, I like it, I was like, your tandem or whatever. I didn't think to like
Yeah.
to get the pressure out by like blowing my nose and holding my nose
Hmm.
and blowing.
Hmm.
Like I just sat through the pain. It was like, ow, 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 ow the whole time. So then
Same.
I know I didn't get to enjoy any of the whatever,
Oh,
any of the scenery
yeah.
or like the crazy feeling of falling. It was just like my head felt like it was going to explode the whole time. And then
That's so.
my husband did it. This is
Mhm.
before I met him. He did it, and the guy he was tandem with kept spinning them around over and over because he thought it was fun. And my husband threw up on him in midair. So
No
funny. So he's like,
way.
nope, never
Oh
want to
my
go
God.
again.
No, no, no.
That's so funny.
That's
I was like,
awesome.
I bet that guy learned his lesson.
Yes, that's what he gets.
Yeah. Oh, but I digress. Okay, so let's get back on track. So then you're in for 7 years. Is that what the requirement is? 7 years of service?
I signed up for 6.
Okay.
Um, and then I was unsure at my 6th year. Am I ready to get out? I don't know. And you can add on 1 year because usually when you like re-enlist, it's like 4 or 6.
Okay.
And you have a year of like a grace period to decide. And I took that year, and I was still working, everything like normal, but it was just a time for me to really be sure if I really want to do this. And I was ready. Like at that year 7, I was ready to just go.
Yeah. And are you living like by yourself at this point, or are you with someone or parents or siblings, or what are you doing at this?
At that point, I was still like, I'm in the same house I've been in like forever, like
Hmm.
5 years or so. At that point, I was with my boyfriend and we were living together. And he was like totally supportive, still is. We're not together now, but we are still very much close.
That's good.
But he supported me in that, and I was just like, let me just go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And what were you thinking? What was your next step? Like getting another
Honestly,
job, this is like this is like this turning point in your life where you're saying goodbye to something you just did every single day, like all of your waking hours for 7 years. So what were you thinking?
yeah, that was definitely my first like big girl job,
Yeah.
like a career. And I left thinking, so I was still doing Etsy with my ring dishes.
Okay.
Um, And that was honestly bringing in like a good chunk of money. I was actually, because it was more so tailored to like brides, because how I did everything was very like neutral and white and lacy and stuff
Mm.
like that. And that money sustained me. And on top of my savings I had, so I did look for a job. Um, Nobody hired me. And
Mm.
then my friend, she was actually a virtual assistant for like a ribbon company in California because she was a spouse, military spouse, and she was like, "Come help me, like work with me and stuff." And I was like, "Okay." So I did that part time, and the money was good because the company is in California. So she was paying like $17 an hour, and I was like, "Okay, I can do this." And honestly, it was fun, but that experience made me learn don't work with your friends.
Yeah, yeah, I know that part's tough.
Yeah. So I stopped doing that, and she understood. Like, she's super, I love her. But I had to leave because my mental wasn't good,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of work. And then I just chilled. And at this point, Juno was in an uprising. Juno was definitely in an uprising. I started actually selling my fiber art. I started with macrame, so I started with that first, and I tried to merge it with Ciara J. Co.
Mm.
And it was just kind of like, I
Was,
know some
was
people do it like,
Ciara J. Co. was
hmm
the ceramic? Was it ceramic ring dishes?
it was polymer
Oh,
clay.
polymer. Okay. Got it. Okay.
hmm Yeah, I started to merge it, but it didn't really go. It didn't really match the vibe.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was thinking back on, like I'm catering to a niche of people, and I've never been a bride. Like I've never been married. Like how? It's not even me.
And
So
all
even
white,
though,
like all the
yeah,
visually, right? It's like 'cause
yes,
you're
it was
so full of
so
color.
plain.
Yeah.
It was so plain. So I was just like, something has to change. But how I got into fiber art, I've always looked at it and seen it. Like, oh my gosh, like were my favorites? I loved Luna in Black, but she is, I forget what her name
She changed
is
it to the
now.
woven hand.
Yes.
Yes,
And
Cat. She's great.
Not Today, Cheyenne, and then Nova
Hmm.
Mercury, of course.
Yes,
So
Jen.
I was just looking at them and I started getting intrigued with fiber art, but I never really like jumped in. But then I think it was 3 years ago. I think it was like a year. I think it was the year I got out. My mom passed
Oh,
away,
I'm so sorry.
and yes, she passed away, and I was just like, I didn't want to deal with clay. I didn't want to make, because making for me is very therapeutic. Like I
Mm.
love to um like work with my hands and like escape into what I'm working on. Um and I was just like, I'm gonna try fiber art. So I think the first YouTube tutorial was, oh man, she doesn't sell or make anymore. I forget what her YouTube was, but um, she was selling chunky. that chunky 12 and I fell in love. So I bought some from her, and I was just to make for me. At this point, I wasn't dealing with Ciara, so that shop was on vacation. I was just
Mm.
having fun doing something new, and like just the touch of the fiber was just so comforting.
Especially that chunky,
So
the chunky stuff is also it's so soft and fun to play
I
with.
love it. So that's how I started. Like with I started with macrame and YouTube, and
Yeah.
then I found you,
Oh, nice.
and I was just like, look at all these colors. Oh my gosh. So
Well, I'm
yeah.
trying to put all the pieces together, and it's occurred to me that, you originally had gone into architecture out of high
hmm
school. So you've been you've had a creative mind and been a creative person, it sounds like, for a while.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yes.
and even with polymer clay things. So did you find that you sort of picked it up quickly and kind of started running with it?
Macrame or
Yeah,
fiber?
yeah. I mean, all of it.
Uh, I feel like I did. Because growing up, me and my sister, we made the friendship bracelets. I feel like the knots are pretty similar to
Yeah.
that. Um, and I don't know. It was just, I was so motivated to learn that I was just like watching everything I could.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I started like getting into weaving. Um, and then that was a whole nother world because the fibers just like multiplied.
Yeah. Yes, they
So it was
do.
overwhelming, definitely. But I was just like, I just love this like so much more than the clay because you have to bake the clay, you have to be near an oven and all this stuff, make sure everything was like lint free. It was just so like, oh my gosh. So,
Right. So you're making this
um,
transition just at the time of your mom's passing?
mhm.
Did she die suddenly, or was it something you guys were prepared for in some way?
No, I was actually on my way to go see her. I was packing my bags and she was in a car accident like a week or two before. And she like broke her leg. So she was home at this point, and I guess it was just like um high blood pressure, like the doctors didn't catch, or like a blood clot. I don't know. I didn't look at the death certificate because I was just like, no, I don't want to look at that. My
Mm-hmm.
sister has it, but it was very sudden. We had like no idea
Oh,
because, like I
wow.
said, I was on my way to go see her like that day until like there was no answer when we were calling her. So my grandma, she sent somebody or called the apartment complex, and she just passed in her sleep. Like we had no idea.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was so sudden. So yeah, I feel like I'm still processing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Because her service was just really nice, low key, and me and my sister wore pink because that was her favorite color,
Oh.
and it was surreal, you know. So
Yeah, because really out
I
of the
don't.
blue,
Yeah,
it's I know. I'm not that it's good when you can prepare when it's a slow decline with people, but
yeah,
it
hmm
feels like it's different, when you just are
yeah,
completely unprepared for something like that to happen.
definitely, definitely. And that was like the first passing we dealt with like close to us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so honestly, like me and my sister just think of it as like she was on here on this earth to raise us,
Mm-hmm.
and we're fine. So, she was ready to go. And I'm happy it was in her sleep.
Right.
Like,
Peaceful, if
so,
anyway. Yeah.
yeah. So, we like to think of, the good parts of like this whole situation. But we are super lucky. She was like the best mom ever. So
Oh. Was she
super
creative?
lucky to have her. She loves fashion.
Oh, nice.
She loves fashion. She loved like this extra like bling and this like clothes
She would have
everywhere.
loved
She
your
was
disco palms.
yeah. Yes, she was just so like everything.
That's
But yeah.
amazing.
Hmm.
Wow. All right. So I guess back to the fiber journey. So then
Yeah.
you're playing around with macrame, playing around with weaving.
Mhm.
I guess
Yeah.
what happens next?
So when I first started making, all I saw was neutral colors.
Hmm.
All I saw was like I don't know. It's just, everyone likes that cream color, and I was just like, okay, let me get some cream. But as I was making with it, it wasn't exciting me. Like I found it boring.
Yep.
Um, so the colors. I was just like, let me get like onesie twosie. Let me start with like, the mustard or like the dark purple. Um, so that's what I did. And I just found like working with color was so much more fun to me. And with macrame, the process can be long. Like that's a lot of knots. And for me to look at this cream color for like an hour was just so awful. I was just like, I can't do this.
1 hour, try like 12 hours on some pieces, right?
Yes, just working on a piece in general with neutrals was not for me.
Hmm.
So um started getting the colors and then I kind of started wanting to think functionality in the pieces that I do make. So then came like I think only one person bought one. But it was like a pom pom with like a wooden ring on it and you could put like the essential oil on the wooden ring and just sit it on your desk. It was
Hmm.
so cute. And then the macrame sphere holder. So I wanted to make pieces you can use, but also they're super cute. So I
Yeah.
started thinking like that. Like, what can I make that's not just pretty, you know?
Yeah.
So that's how
Form
it
and
started.
function. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So I started thinking that way, and then I just didn't want to look like everybody else. Is that bad to say?
Yeah, no, not at all. I think that's the ultimate
Okay.
goal. I think everyone is striving for that ultimate goal is to find their voice with what they're creating. And
Hmm.
it's hard because it takes a lot
Exactly.
of experimentation and trying other people's styles before you kind of land on your own. I mean, I think it's all part of the process. And I know that there's a lot of there's a lot of discussion in the community about copying and things like that. And yes, it's annoying when somebody copies your piece fiber by fiber and knot by knot, and but I even now I still see, and it is, yes, I'm like, I can't discount that it is a yucky feeling that you get when you see that someone did that. They took the effort to like dissect every single knot and even go do it in the same colors
Yeah.
and all this stuff. And it's like you get that icky feeling, but it's all part of their process too. At least from my
Yeah.
perspective where I sit now, I can see that, and I didn't always used to be able to. When you're in it, it just feels shitty. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I think that's in order for everyone to find their style and their voice and their perspective, they have to start by trying other people's stuff, and then they can look
Mhm.
at it and go, what can I do differently in that? And did I enjoy that? Do I love the final piece? Does it speak to me? But it's all part of that
Mhm.
big process that actually takes a while,
Yeah.
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 So yes, you're
I agree.
back to you wanting to not be the same as everybody else.
Yes. 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 So how did I do it? So, okay, fast forward, I was starting to make pieces that were more functional and pretty. Um, but then I think like after that big boom of support Black businesses. And I had like so many orders. It was so overwhelming that time. Um, I had this one piece. It was a macrame piece. I think you featured it. It was that mustard with the clear quartz crystal in it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people loved that piece. So, I was making like different color versions of it and also making like macrame minis and everything like that. So I was tying a lot of knots and I kind of not fell out of love with it, but I was just wasn't motivated to make
Yeah, yeah.
macrame anymore, which is
You
why I
get
don't
burnt
really
out.
macrame.
Yeah. And you get burnt out from making the same
Mhm.
thing over and over and over
Yeah.
again, you know? I totally get that.
Exactly. Exactly. So I don't really macrame anymore for like to sell. I'll do it like if I for myself or for my house or something like that. But like the lengthy projects, I just don't care to. And of course, like after spending so much time with a piece, I want to keep it because I just spent so much time with it. I become attached.
Yeah.
So. Um, yeah, that's how I was feeling with macrame. And um, with that, I started making like the pom pom car hangers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, those are so popular. Like, a lot of people like it's so simple, but a lot of people loved that product. And I loved it too, like a I think it was my second or first pom pom product. And everybody loved it. It was so fun. It was like a diffuser too, like you put oils on it too.
Nice.
Um, and I don't know how. I think, after that big boom of like support Black business, after the orders were out, I just stopped making in general, to sell, like Etsy wise.
Mm.
And I was just focusing on what do I want to take out, what do I not want to make anymore, and what do I want to make, like
Right.
generally speaking.
Right. So
And
was
I
this
just wanted to create things.
I'm trying to think of
Mhm.
the timeline when all this was happening then. This was like was this during the pandemic? I feel like that was like June of last year. That I get
Last year.
when everything happened with George Floyd protests and um I want to say June, May or June of last year, right? During like in the middle of the pandemic when we're all stuck in our houses and not knowing what to do.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you're going through that at
exactly.
this point. And this is
Yep.
not long after your mom passed. Is that
No. Mm-mm.
yeah. Sorry, you're
Yeah.
frozen. You're a little bit frozen. Your video is frozen. Hold on one second. Um okay, you're back. So you truly I'm just trying to put myself in your position at this point. Like you're probably I'm guessing, and you can confirm or not confirm, that you're super overwhelmed with orders while also being grateful that you have them, but also not processing your mom's death at all. And because you're like really just thrown into it all, right? All at the same time. It's all going on at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah. All at the same time. It
Wow.
was it definitely me transitioning from active duty and having a steady paycheck to not, and then also me attempting to go to therapy over my mom and not liking that, so I
Mm.
left. Cindy, let me get this dog really quick.
Okay. No problem.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So, yeah, it was a lot at once. And thinking back on it, it was a lot. Definitely crying from overwhelm,
Mm-hmm.
crying from not having enough money, crying from mom not being here. It was very overwhelming. Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah. And then in the middle of the pandemic, are you alone or are you still with your boyfriend at this time or is anyone with you?
hmm
Okay.
So I was alone when I found out my mom passed. He was deployed. And I think at this point he was deployed too, during the pandemic.
Mm.
And so him coming back was very much delayed because of everything going on and needing to get tested and all of that. Um, so at this point, I was by myself. I had my night here, my dog, which is why he is so special to me. This dog has been with me through everything, like
Oh.
everything. And he met my mom and my grandparents, which they're no longer here. And that's like Night is my baby.
I know the
I love
feeling.
him.
Dogs are the best. I
Yeah.
every night I hug my dog and I'm like, you guys are the best little creatures in the world. They really are.
Yeah. Yes. So blessed to have him. But yeah, at this point I was by myself. Just trying to, and also Steven, he was very much financially supportive of me.
Mm.
He made sure I had the things I needed, and like he was so good with that. But yeah, it what was I? So he came home and he ended up like helping me with some of these orders and stuff, to the best of his ability. And what else? I ended up having to get like a virtual assistant because like these people were angry. They
Oh,
didn't get their
really?
stuff when like people were canceling orders, people were opening up cases against me
Oh
on Etsy,
no.
and like my virtual assistant at the time, she was just my peace and my calm, and she took care of all the messages because I just needed to focus on making and getting
Yeah.
things out. Like if people wanted a refund, then I just gave it to them because honestly, less orders for me to make. At that
Mm-hmm.
point, I did not. Um, but yeah, she was definitely amazing. Um, yeah, and then after that whole storm, I started looking for part-time job or something because I didn't want to make as much after
Mm-hmm.
all of that.
Man, that's
Um,
so tough because it's such a weird conflicting feeling to have because it's like you would think that would be the ultimate goal is to be so busy with orders that because then your finances are a little bit more secure and but it's overwhelming and I think this is the side of the maker life that a lot of people don't appreciate and
yeah,
understand.
yeah, mhm,
And
exactly.
also to it for it being tied to the support Black businesses and things like that. It's like I bet there's I mean, you tell me, is there like, there's like guilt attached too, where you're like, I want to do the best I can and be a spokesperson and do all this stuff, but you can't, you can't do it all, you know?
Exactly. Like being like a one-woman show and fulfilling these orders and also being like in the spotlight um, was definitely a cool and weird experience.
Yeah.
Um, yes, I loved all the orders and recognition, but I would have much rathered that at like a steady pace and not
Mm-hmm.
just like a big boom in
Yeah.
my face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I definitely grew from that experience. I do believe that every experience is something to learn from. Um, and I did. I learned a lot. So I'm thankful for it, and I'm happy it's over. So
Can I ask you a logistical question? Um,
yeah.
where when you realized you were having this windfall of orders, did you end up having the um did it occur to you at the time to like extend your lead times and put all of that in your Etsy or were you
Mhm.
because it was so new like did that not occur to you?
What did I do? At that point, I shut my shop down.
Okay.
So all of this happened in a week's time.
God, that's so
In a week's
crazy.
time, yeah, I had about 100 to 200 orders. And when it happened in the middle of it, I extended my time. Um, and it still didn't help. Didn't help at
Wow.
all.
Yeah.
So that was why I needed somebody to talk to these people. So that's why I hired, the virtual assistant.
Yeah. How did you find your virtual assistant?
I put up something in my stories, and I also put like help wanted or something, and then I put something up on my personal Facebook page
Mm-hmm.
looking for somebody. Um, and it was cool because it was just like a few like she checked in with me like morning and night and let me know like the certain orders that are like pressing, whoever wanted a refund, and I gave her all what do you call it? Freedom to just
Mm-hmm.
talk to them. And but yeah, she reached out to me and she was like, "Oh, I can help you." And I think at the time she was like a stay-at-home mom. She was perfect, honestly.
Oh,
She
that's
was so
so
good.
great. And was she a stranger? Like complete stranger?
We met in a Facebook group, like a
Okay.
local Facebook group. She's in Georgia too. She's like in the next town over.
Okay.
Um, and she like went to school to be like a paralegal or something like that. So she knew how to talk to people,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just so great. Like, I was so thankful
That's
for her.
that's amazing when it just clicks too, and when they
Yes.
get it, when they get exactly what they need to
Mhm.
do, and it just works.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
She's great.
Man, it's so
Yeah.
crazy. Like I don't think a lot of people think about like the dark side of going viral. You know, like you think it's all good, and then you're like, oh my god, I'm sitting here buried under orders that I can't get. Like it would take you months to get
Mhm.
out. What was your most
Yeah.
popular? Were people ordering? Like, were your disco palms up at this point, or what was
No.
selling? Okay.
Um, the little pom pom car hangers
Okay.
and that macrame piece with the clear quartz crystal in it. It was like a medium, small size piece. Those two were my best sellers.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I don't really make, well, definitely not the macrame. I don't really make that piece anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I, I feel like at that point, the little pom pom car hangers, people saw them and saw how popular they were. And they were on Pinterest too. And people were pinning that pin so many times. And like, I think like a few months ago or something, I was just like, these aren't really popping anymore. And I look on Etsy and other people are making them for cheaper price.
Right.
So
Right.
I was just like, and I don't really talk about them as much anymore either. So I was just like, let them have it, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess at that point I was intrigued by pom poms because I don't know how, but Palm Maker has those really cute donut pom pom makers,
Mm-hmm.
and I got two of them. I was like, these are so cute, and I was just like, I have all this fiber, I have all this yarn. Let's try like diving deeper into pom poms. And what I love about them is that they are quicker,
Mm-hmm.
but just as fun. Like the process of just cutting one open and seeing how it looks. I love
I know.
that
I
part.
love it.
I love that part. And I don't really know how disco. What was I think I. So okay, during the pandemic, roller skates got really big, and like when you think of roller skates, you kind of think of disco balls because like in the rink,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
disco ball there. And I came across disco balls. I think it was at Hobby Lobby, and I was just like, hmm. And one night I just got out the shower and I was just like, what if I put a pom pom on top? And that was basically how the disco pom came to be.
That's awesome. I feel like epiphanies always happen in the bathroom.
Mhm.
It's either
Yeah.
on the toilet or
I
in the shower.
yeah. Exactly. Yep. And the next day I made one, and honestly, like when like the pandemic was happening, I just wanted my space to be cute. I wanted it to
Yeah.
have like disco balls and sun catchers in general. They have like a nice movement to them to create that in your space.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. So
God,
sun
you're right.
catchers
You're right.
became a
That's,
thing.
I feel like everybody needed that. Everybody needed a little bit of
Mhm.
sparkle and a little bit of like sun prisms and this whole thing because we're all stuck in our
Yeah.
houses. Like, and everyone's
Mhm.
scared because at this point, we don't know if it's like how deadly it is or all of that, you know? There were so many
Yeah.
question
Yep.
marks. Oh, I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. So, pom poms were like big at that point.
Mhm.
And then I got the idea to do a pom pom on a like the crystal, the sun catcher that
Yeah.
makes like the rainbows and everything. And pom poms just became like my thing. So
I love it.
yeah.
I think it's very fitting.
Mhm.
You're um, obviously a very smiley and,
Yeah.
bright person, and it's awesome. Like your feed is such a joy to come browse because it always look like
Yeah.
you're having parties over there. A party of one,
I
maybe,
just
or with
yeah.
with your puppies.
If somebody wants to join, then welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so yes, I definitely want to talk about this. You're doing an online pom pom course, or what is it? You have a link to join the pom
Yes.
pom party. So what is that?
So I basically put together, so it's an Instagram account. It's a private Instagram account because
Okay.
I just wanted to dip my toe in creating a course. And at the time I started it, I didn't have the money or I didn't want to invest in like Skillshare or just like making a website or anything. I just stuck to what I knew, and that was Instagram. And my sister like helped me, think logically about this because like you don't really think about people making courses on Instagram. But I was just like, let's just do it. So the class has like 7 tutorials on 7 different pom poms you can make, um, like using different materials and like pom pom makers and things like that.
Cool.
Um, and the tutorials are IGTV based,
Okay.
and then there's like highlights I have there to what is it? To basically explain like where I get my stuff and like tips and tricks, and like it's just fun because I don't really have anybody here like in person that gets excited about like pom poms like I do.
Yeah.
Or just like coming across materials and things like that. And I was just like, I really want to make a course, and having passive income in a like a niche that we're in, it's so helpful because you don't have to
Absolutely.
constantly have something in your hand when you
Yep.
can just create something and just like, you know, it's good.
That's
So,
amazing. I'm so glad you found a way to monetize in that way. That's absolutely like I feel like should be one arm of what so many makers should have is a passive income
uh-huh.
opportunity, or just create something like
Mhm.
that for themselves, because making is wonderful, but it's hard and it's time consuming. So we
Yeah,
all deserve some steady
exactly.
income, and it if I think that's
Mhm.
like such a wonderful way to do it. That's so smart to do it on Instagram. I wasn't even thinking, because it's like it's easier than having to set
Mhm.
up a full camera and then edit a thing and edit the videos and do this whole thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
it was so much easier, and I could basically just tag at Juno's Palm Party and whatever, and they could just go there, DM me, and like the party just starts. It's
Nice.
already there.
Wait, so what
Yeah.
happens if people go to your link tree? It says come join the private pom pom party. So they click on that, and then or tap on that, and then where do they go from
Mm-hmm.
there? Do they?
So, my link tree is kind of so that's my PayPal link.
Okay.
Honestly, I should have please stop.
What if he comes in with you?
Um, he is so like triggered by mailmen, and everything like that. And then I have my baby here on the floor, and he's just entertained by my hands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, actually, this is why I'm asking you to spell it out, like what happens when you go to the pom-pom party, because I think people don't really get it. So it goes straight to a link to your PayPal.
So, it goes to my PayPal. Honestly, I should have a link like straight to Juno's palm party in there, so I will do that. But I usually just say like DM me if you want to take part, and then I'll just send them the link and everything or the tag. Because there's different ways to pay. Some people are comfortable with certain things. So, PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. And yeah.
And how much is it to join your party?
I need to like make it better. Huh?
How much is it to join the party?
It's $50 now.
Okay. Okay.
It went up from last time because I added more stuff.
I wonder if it's I wonder if you can just do it like a link to have it be an Etsy listing. And then when Etsy emails the confirmation, it has all the information in there of where to go. You know what I mean? Because then you're still getting the money. But then, honestly, you're giving part of the money to Etsy, which is not great. Which is not great. So, yeah.
I could honestly make like a landing page or something.
Yeah, I think
it could be easier. I'm gonna think about that.
Yeah, I think just with more explanation, explaining what people are going to get out of it. Because I wonder, like, don't people wonder, like, oh, I'm paying $50 for what? You know?
Yeah. And honestly, like, I do have like a palm class highlight in my like Juno on Juno Studio, and I do talk about it, but I don't want to burn people out talking about it. You know. I do have in my bio like Juno's palm party in there.
See, but I don't think everybody knows what that is. I don't know if people know that they're gonna learn how to make them, and you know what I mean? Yeah. I think you got to spell things out. Yeah. And as much as we do think people are getting burnt out by hearing the same thing over and over again, they're actually not hearing it over and over again. Like they're going. I'm serious though. It's like, you know, we talk about it all the time to ourselves and in our own world, but they're probably coming across your page, you know, once every, who knows, especially with the way Instagram is working. It's not every day. It's not every post. So sometimes you got to drill it.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So,
I know. You don't be afraid of self-promotion. And I say this because I sometimes feel like I need to be better at it as well, but we, you know, we got to do it. It's part of the job, you know.
Yes, it is. And I try to make it fun sometimes. Well, I try in general to make everything like I talk about fun with like the colorful backgrounds and just like, you know, because I would pay attention to that. Yeah. So, yeah, I try my best.
It's great. No, it's great. I know your feed is a joy to watch. And right now, you're doing this part time, or you have a full time job, right? Or you have a separate part time job?
I have a full time job now since so Steven, he moved out, bought a house. So I am taking care of me, and like he's still like very much like here helping. It's a weird thing.
It's good. It's good because you obviously still care about each other. Anything that's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. So I got a full-time job. I'm a leasing consultant right now. And then I still do Juno. I feel like Juno is not going anywhere, but right now I feel like I'm in a transition with Juno of not really wanting to make as many or as much product. I'm kind of wanting to like speak more about my story and my mindset with different topics. And I just want to help more. you
Have
know.
you taught classes, like in-person classes?
I have. I taught a weaving class at my local art center.
Nice.
That was really fun. And they just like reach out to me if there's a class I want to teach in it or anything like that because that class I actually subbed in for somebody that couldn't make it. And it was actually really good. I was nervous because, I don't really weave that much, but it went really well. It went
Nice.
really
That's
well.
awesome. I mean, even the pom-poms
Yeah.
I feel like would be such a hit because you don't need any much equipment. You can do it with kids. I feel like kids can make
Yeah.
them.
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, I feel like you could bring like the pom-pom joy everywhere, you
I
know?
want to. Yeah, I really want to. Um, yeah, that's something to definitely think about, like in the future, because
Yeah.
mhm, that would be so fun.
Well, if you could have your dreams come true in the next 5 years, how would that look to you? What would you be doing, you think?
Um, it might be like weird to say. I don't know if it's weird to say, but honestly, I would really like to be like a creative coach. Is that weird?
No, that's not weird at all. Why would that be weird? I think that's
I don't
awesome.
know because like I don't know, I'm very much like I love the products I make. Like I love the products. Um but I want to create more freely,
Mhm.
not worrying about launches and making enough and ordering um like the supplies and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, but I really like to like I know sometimes with selling and everything like that, it can feel like really crunchy, like anxiety and all this stuff. But I
And
don't know. I
it
feel like
becomes so much more of a business. It takes a lot of joy out of it
yeah,
sometimes. Yeah.
that's exactly it. And I don't know. I just want to talk about like keeping that joy. And if you
Mhm.
don't enjoy making something, it's okay to not make it. And
Yeah.
just a lot of thoughts that I think of when I was going through a tough time that I feel like I can help and relate and things like that.
Yeah, I think that is definitely something people need to hear. For sure, is like how to say no. That it's okay to
Mhm.
say no. That you can phase things out, and you're
Mm.
never required to continue doing something that doesn't bring you joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's
Mhm.
a wonderful message, and like I don't actually I stay off Instagram a lot more than I should. Like I should be on more and following more people and looking at watching people's stories. I actually don't watch a lot of stories at all. And if I do, it's like dogs and horses. I
Yes.
have like a whole
Yes.
separate account for like dogs and horses, and I should be like following all the makers and da da da. But like yeah, but that is something I think it'd be wonderful. Maybe you do already in your stories. Do you talk about like
Mhm.
things like this that things you want to let people know? Um,
Yes. I do it like sporadically, like here and there, onesie, twosie, but I do want to talk about it more. Because fiber art in your business, like it should be fun. Like nobody's making you do this.
mhm.
You're choosing to. So why choose to do something that you're not enjoying
Mm-hmm.
or letting like this outside like negative energy or I don't know. It can just feel really like I just want to make my stuff and have a good time and make some money. Like that's
Yes.
all.
Yep.
So yeah. Mhm.
I think that's a wonderful goal to have, and the creative coaching is great. Um, keep moving toward it, and you can make things happen for sure. I think you have a unique perspective in terms of in terms of how your business developed and exploded. All at the same time, and
Yeah.
I hope you'll re re-engage with therapy if you feel called to do that because you do got
Yeah.
to process all of that hard stuff.
Yeah,
and
it is.
and I think in processing that it does help in terms of like what you learn and what you can coach other people on as well, so It'll open up doors for sure.
I think my thing with that is I need to find the right person.
Yeah. That's 100% like the thing. And that's
Yeah.
that's like the hardest part about it is finding someone that you can sit across and not roll your eyes at.
Yeah, Cindy, oh my gosh. I was actually assigned a therapist at one time, like from the Bay. Did not like her. And then I actually like tried doing like a group thing, and it was just not how do I explain? It was very sad.
Yeah.
And it was very sudden, me jumping into that, like definitely like right after finding out. But I tried it for I think it was like a meeting once a week. I think I went to like 3 of them out of like I think it was like 6 or 7 meetings. And it was just so sad. Like, I did not feel my mom's energy with me while I was in there.
Yeah.
And I just felt like that's not it for me either.
Yeah.
And eventually I do want to find, like, the right person. Hopefully I'll just come across them because looking is so overwhelming.
It is. I know. Have you ever tried, like, I don't know. I hear it on other podcasts. BetterHelp. So you can just do it online. It's like online therapy. And then you can try out different people. And yeah.
I think I heard about that. It's an option.
Yeah.
Honestly, I forget about it.
I know. It doesn't feel like a priority, right?
It doesn't. Until I'm just like sad about it.
Yeah.
So,
do you and your sister talk about it? And
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I talk to her like every day, like 3-4 times a day.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You are close.
Yes, we're super close, and I'm just happy that I have somebody that reminds me so much of her. Like, we remind each other of her, so it's like, her energy is definitely still here. But yeah, I do want to. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm glad you have your sister, and you'll figure it out. This has been such a fun, like a great conversation. Like, I didn't know completely what to expect since I don't stalk every square of yours. So yeah, I mean, I got to know so much, and I think the people listening are going to be really fascinated with all you've been through in your life. It's really interesting. I had no idea you served in the military. None of this, because all we see are just like happy poms, And it's like, wait a minute, what? And then what happened? Yeah. So this is wonderful to get to know you better. I'm so grateful that you agreed to come on.
I'm happy you reached out. When you reached out, I was like, me? But I'm so happy you reached out. It was fun.
Good. Is there anything else you want to mention before we say goodbye?
No, that's about it.
All
yeah.
Right. Well, thank you so much again, Ciara. And I know I will be seeing you on Instagram. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me about anything. You know that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I definitely do. I'm always messaging you about colors.
Yeah. Plus, I just feel like for people, like once you've been on the podcast, we like know each other and we're fully friends now. So you can always, you're in the family.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again. I'll be talking to you soon. Check the show notes of each episode to get the website and Instagram for each of the fiber artists I speak with. Be sure to give them a follow. And you can view video from this podcast on niromastudio.com/The Fiber Artist Podcast. If you enjoy the Fiber Artist Podcast, go to Apple Podcasts to subscribe, rate, and review. Thank you for listening.